Hey again, everybody. Cidious StarCraft here for another StarCraft 2 commentary. The map today is going to be Zelnaga Caverns, and I'm up here on top right. Red Protoss, Cidious, and down the bottom left. We do have the blue Zerg ArdentCatsup, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. Pretty good map. You've seen me play it a couple times. It's pretty short distance between both bases. It's sometimes favorable for Terrans and Protoss against Zerg, just because you can see the short rushes between the places. And so it's kind of up to Zerg to constantly expand, maybe sneak some expansions out in places where they might not be scouted. Pretty good engagements. It's kind of tough again for Zerg in the fact that, like I've said in the past, that there's a lot of choke points that Protoss and Terrans usually want to utilize. And of course, the watchtowers. So it's up to the Zerg as well to try to get surrounds in the open areas here and here. Try to get a good surround, a good concaves at those places, and end up trying to do a little more damage. APM for both players. I'm sitting at about 101, dropped down to 5 because I'm focused on something else at the moment. The Zerg player is up at 56. Now I am dropping my gas, as you can see. I do fuck up my build just a little bit here. I was focused solely on some other stuff, so that as you can see, I have yet to get my gateway, which is not so good. You usually want to get your gateway and then drop your assimilator or your gas roughly about halfway during the build of the gateway, so they finish about the same time. And if you do it right, you usually will have enough money if you keep producing harvesters to also drop your cybernetics core as well. So since I did screw this up a little bit, I think I do decide to, yes I do, drop another gateway, just in case, because this is way behind. I don't want any type of Zergling run by, waiting for this to fully finish and then having to drop my cybernetics core. Now he is trying to steal the gas here, steal my geyser. I keep trying to send one probe at him, prevent him from doing so. But as you can see, he keeps going back and forth to try to steal it. Does a couple things, prevents me from getting my second gas, plus it gives him a little bit of a scout inside my base. Now of course I do have my probe on patrol down here to try to prevent any type of expansion going down. But it looks like that he's actually just trying to drone up at the moment, not really worried too much about expanding. He hasn't even produced any Zerglings. But now he does end up going for the expansion. As you can see, my probe is down here to block it for just a few seconds here. And he's going to end up having to bring these Zerglings back to clear this up. And let's see what happens here. More than likely, yeah, my probe's trying to get away. And of course he drops down the hatchery. Now a lot of the Protoss players will drop down a pylon right here to delay it even more, and then cancel your pylon to get your money back. But unfortunately, I was unable to do that because the Zerglings were here. Do of course end up losing that probe. Units lost, I've lost 1 unit, and of course that was the probe there. And now I know he's got Zerglings, so I'm double producing some Zealots here to try to block off the ramp, prevent him from coming in anymore. While I'm sending one little Zealot over here to take out that extractor. I end up dropping down a couple more gateways. I'm going to start off with a 4 gate on this one, just to maybe put on some early pressure, try to prevent him from, keep being at ease the entire time. Now he was smart though. He sent one little Zergling up here and got a good scout of my base. He knows that I have the 4 gates. He knows I'm chrono boosting out probably Warp Gate. So I'm going to try to push out with just a little bit of an army here in just a second, just to put some little bit of pressure on. And as you can see, his hatchery is just about to pop, and he's going to start probably transferring drones over, and probably these spine crawlers as well. Now he's also going for the Roach for 1, which is very good against my Zealots, because you can just shoot him and kite him from around. Now he definitely needs to start transferring these. There he goes. It might be a little bit too big of a transfer, but wouldn't be too bad, I suppose. It depends on how many drones you transfer, workers you transfer. If you transfer more than half, then of course you can set your rally point from your main back to the mineral patches of the main. But if you only transfer a few, it's good to put both rally points at your expansion here, because you kind of want to mine this out as quickly as possible. because it's more vulnerable than your main base. Same goes for me. I'd rather want to mine this out as opposed to mine this out. Now here we go. I am moving out a little bit with an army. Supply count's roughly the same. He's got 1 supply ahead of me, 44 to 43. Harvester count, he is 2 ahead of me at the immediate moment. But of course, I'm moving out and attacking and dropping my expansion at the same time. If you're able to, move out, put some pressure on, and drop your expansion, you might be able to just get that up and running without worried about too much of an attack, or counterattack. So I'm not going to really go commit too heavily to attack here. I just want to poke in, see what I can get, see what I can see. And I know he's got the 2 spines, and I see the roaches and of course the wings he's got there. Army size, of course, 51 to 51. We're exactly even. Now he looks like he's going to bring these Zerglings up to try to do some type of an attack to me. Of course, I'm trying to hut myself back there to the back and get back over here to help protect my buildings. Of course, I have my units rallied out over here, but I gotta fall back because if this expansion goes down, I'll be in a world of hurt. I'm gonna send my units back because he's doing pretty good work to it, and it looks like I ain't gonna be able to ward this off, at least at the immediate moment. But he did do a significant amount of damage to me. So I gotta play him a little more defensive right here before I start transferring everything over. Now a good thing to do, especially Protoss or Terran, put a little supply depot or pylon right there, so you can see on the opposite side of these trees here. Makes it so that you'll be a little more prepared if they do decide to move in and attack. Now we have both armies meeting in the middle here. It looks like we might have some type of engagement. Oh, we sneak past each other. But he catches the watchtower, so he does see me back over there. And I do catch this one Overlord out of position. And I see where those are up. I'm going to come down here and try and get some harvesters. But I can see, of course, that's not going to work too well. So I'm going to try and get a surround here. Watch this off. Get my zealots in there so they can do some damage. And, basically we came out roughly about the same. Now we're engaging yet again. But at the same time, he's attacking with a couple of Zerglings over this way. And I'm going to have to move all my units back to help protect because this is in danger, of course, of dying. Now what I did there is I grabbed all my probes, clicked on this mineral patch, allows them to group up, then surround the Zerglings. So then I can, kill them without losing anything there. We got one little Zergling out here, and of course he does have the watchtower. Now this is a good Overlord placement. I'd probably suggest maybe putting it up a little higher, so you can see a little bit around the cavern here, and know if anybody's going, around certain ways. Now there's a huge supply discrepancy now, 70 to 59, and I know I'm a little behind, so I gotta make it up somehow. So I do force field some of these roaches here. As you can see, he one-shots that one zealot. But if I continue to attack that, more than likely I'd get destroyed. So I'm going to regroup with my army and then end up re-engaging here. Units lost tab. You can see I'm at 2,700 to 2,000. Big difference between the two. Now he is stopping, of course, to turn around and shoot my zealots, which allows me to get a couple kills in there. And now I'm switching over to mainly stalkers at the medium moment, just because I see he mainly have roaches. A few Zerglings here or there, but the roaches, I can count them pretty easy with stalkers here. Now he does give me attacks from both sides, which is never a good position to be in, but I do have more of my units attacking. I do end up microing back a couple of units that are about to be attacked. And as you can see, it ended up turning the tide of battle on that particular engagement. So evening out a little bit closer when it comes to the total resources worth of units lost. I'm trying to hunt these down just so I get maybe one more kill here. I do end up sniping that one. And bad rally point. Always watch the rally points because that Overlord was rallied somewhere over this direction for some reason. I did see the Overlord originally over here, but I lost track of them at some point. I'm going to try to get 3 more Zerglings in my base, maybe kill a couple of probes, at least do some scouting. He does, of course, scout my robo facility here. I'm going to get a couple of Immortals, because Immortals are so good against roaches. And if you look at the army size now, I'm above 83 to 69. Harvester count, I'm way ahead, 10 more supply than he is. So I'm able to produce units much quicker because I have a higher income. And instead of going back and engaging, I'm going to start clearing these drops off so that I can get prepared for yet another expansion whenever I do decide I want to get it. Production tab, you can see I'm actually working on weapons level 1. And he's working on tunneling claws for his roaches. Which, if you don't have any type of detection, you know, can be pretty fatal if you're not prepared for it. So now, for the most part, we're both macroing up. I end up dropping my 3rd base. Looks like he does the same. Again, as a Zerg player, you kind of want to be 1 base ahead of your Protoss or Terran adversary. We end up dropping them about the same time. Mine's actually a little bit sooner. So then, possibly, I can get a little more income, a little more production facilities, and end up pushing out a little bit soon. As you can see, I'm mainly focused on Stalker and Sentry, and I'm getting out a couple of Immortals. And as you can see, dropping down now a total of 6 gateways. Workers killed. He's killed 3 of my workers. I've killed absolutely none of him. But again, I have a high worker count compared to him, so it's not that big of a deal. And this little Zealot was being attacked by this roach, so his buddy Stalkers came in to help clean it up. Now I probably should leave at least Zealot back here at this watchtower. Again, vision is vital to playing StarCraft. And I guess he's focused only on the army because he is not buying any harvesters. And he just popped out a lot of roaches. Almost 24, you got 22 roaches there he just popped out. So he's probably waiting until Burrow's finished up and probably end up pushing out because of that. Now I do have an observer here. Constantly scout with the observer, check different expansions. So I can possibly catch him out of position. I do of course see those units picking up the rocks. So I figure he's probably going to end up going for the high yield expansion before too long. But I end up double backing over on this side just to see if he does have a 3rd expansion. Of course I do catch a glimpse of it. He does have a Spire completed. Has not produced any type of mutas or corruptors. Unfortunately for him, he never scouted my robotics bay, so he doesn't know that actually Colossus are going to be on the way here in a minute. So having the Spire, if you build a building, make use of it. If anything, to trick an opponent into thinking maybe you're going mass air or something, get a couple mutas, go around, do some harassment, or get a lot and do some work with them. I am moving out here. Army size, of course, 150 to 31, 131. And of course, like I said, I have spotted this expansion, so I want to get rid of it before it gets too far up and going. And I have yet to show out my Colossus. Right now at the moment, I just want to do a little bit of work. Block some of the roaches off there.